Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I have three topics for this video. The first one, I have an article here from BuzzFeed that lists all of former Biden's president executive orders that President Trump has already rescinded. That means canceled, overthrew, overshadow, over, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean. So what's going on here? That's the first one. Second one, how should I put it? The weasels with their diversity, equity, inclusion garbage are changing their clothes, but they're the same, which is Trump put on leave the diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI is the so-called DUI as I call it, DEI officers, a job that should not have been created. He put them on leave from the federal employees. Well, guess what the guys are doing? They changed the title of the DEI officers into DEI lovers, actually CEO lovers, and they could not be put on leave. This is what these guys are doing. I'm going to show you how United States agency rebrands Chief Diversity Officer amid Trump purge. That's the second one. I dislike that very much. And the Pentagon's going to send more troops to Mexico's border. Good job. All right, let's start with the first one, which is this. BuzzFeed. Here are all of former President Biden's executive orders that President Trump has already rescinded. Now, a while ago, when Donald Trump was still campaigning, I was straight, honest, direct, how you want to call it. And I said, I don't like when Trump says, in the first day of my presidency, I will write this executive orders, I will reverse this, I will rescind this. No, because he didn't do that in his first term. So I said, until I see it, I don't believe it. Why? The Democrats, and not only, when the predecessor, boom, they change. They destroy the predecessor's executive orders and they write their garbage. So I was waiting for Trump to do the same thing. And he kept his promise. So again, good job. So let's see what executive orders the imbeciles before Trump put in place. My friends, this I almost consider it a crime. And for whom? For whom? All right. As soon as President Trump's inauguration wrapped up on Monday afternoon, he began signing a series of executive orders, like everybody else. He signed 26 on his first day, which is the highest number signed on day one since the Office of the Federal Register started keeping records at the start of FDR's second term in 1937. By the way, FDR is Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the communist wannabe President of the United States of America, who used to call the Georgian Soviet tyrant, dictator Stalin, Mr. Vissarionovich Djugashvili, that's his name, Djugashvili, called him Uncle Joe. Hey, Uncle Joe, what's going on? All right, that. Remember, FDR ran 4 times for the US presidency and he won 4 times. And then he had a little stroke. By whom? With his mistress. But hey, it's okay. Not while pumping. No, or by being blown. No, it was something else. Nevertheless, this is the most. I personally don't like executive orders. I don't like one person to issue decrees. To a certain extent, it's necessary to bypass the other weasels in the Congress, but I like the check and balance little thing. So let's go here and find out what he rescinded. One of these orders, titled Initial Rescission of Harmful Executive Orders and Actions, was aimed specifically as rescinding 78 executive orders and presidential memoranda that former President Biden signed through the 4 years of his presidency. All right, let's have the party going. These are the ones. Executive Orders 13988. Preventing and combating discrimination on basis of gender identity or sexual orientation. This is the first one they placed. The most important one to them. It's discrimination based on gender identity. So I identify as this, you should not, and sexual orientation. No, you should not be discrimination on who you want to fuck. I agree with that. Except, you know what I mean. I'm okay. And first, it shouldn't matter. It should not matter, hey, I identify as this. It doesn't matter. Go and fucking work. That's all that matters. Alright? Oh, I want you to call me Zay Gumzenzo. I don't give a fuck. Gigi, go and work. What's your name? Let me give you your ID. If you have one. If you don't get a job. Gigi, that's your name. That's how I'm going to call you. And the pronouns I'm going to use for you, I'm going to use the ones that I feel comfortable. Why? Because I matter as much as you matter. So your is as strong, as valuable as my So if you want to be respected, first you have to respect me. I see only two genders. Fuck off. Oh, you see 1,000? Okay. That's it. So that's my point on that. But remember, the first one was discrimination on the gender identity. Okay, whatever, man. Let's move on. I don't like discrimination based on these things because you are there to work or promote it. This should not matter. Hey, where are the men here? Oh, maybe you identify as one. I guarantee you that. How can I pick them? All right, next one. Executive Orders 1404. Enabling all qualified Americans to serve their country in uniform. It's the same thing as the other one right here. The same base. It says, this order confirms the rights of transgender Americans to serve openly in the military without discrimination. Okay? So the second one based on this delusion, I call it. All right. People can be delusional. I'm okay. But you can't impose your delusion on me. You can't force me. If you force me, now that's tyranny. And I think with tyranny, if that someone is tyrannical, the government becomes tyrannical, the citizens' duty, not right, duty is to change the government. As the guy says, through any means available. Wasn't that Malcolm Little? Oh, sorry, Malcolm X. By all means necessary. There you go. I know that too, man. You have to know shit in order to defend yourself. Bang, 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 and then boom, back. So again, another baboonish thing, reversed. Oh, let me get my glasses. I'm old. Next one. And this is Executive Orders 14019. Promoting access to voting. Like someone stops you. Well, there are some limitations. According to NPR, public radio, this order, and I'm quoting, led to new voter registration guides, mailers, updated websites and programs. Order, diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility in the federal workplace. This executive order was designed to promote diversity in hiring government. What do I need? No, all I need is your ability. That's all I need. I don't give a shit, man. You're a midget, you're a giant, you're a cyclop. What? I don't care, man. I don't give a shit who you want to fuck. You like to fight paperwork? Fuck paperwork, man. Or you like to fuck a desk? Go at it. I don't care as long as you perform your duties. Implement. But you see all these things that all so far, all these executive orders have one issue in common. You know what it is? It shouldn't be important whatsoever. Now, another one. It says implementation of the Infrastructure Investment in Jobs Act. This order laid out the implementation plan for the bipartisan infrastructure law passed by Congress to build new roads, bridges, airport, broadband, rail, and more. I think that this guy said in disadvantaged areas. Picked again based on something else, on group identity. Promoting the arts and humanities in museums and library services. What do you think this is? Certain kind of humanities changing. This executive order was designed to create an opportunity for artists, some of them students, scholars, educators, cultural heritage practitioners, and the institutions that support their work. They were meant to indoctrinate our diverse children. Right here. So that's some of them. the drugs here, of course. Then you got the artificial independence. What's this? Withdraw certain areas of the United States off the continental shelf. So these guys, what are they doing? They're trying not to. The president memorandum officials, multiple lawsuit, president's executive order, During Trump's first administration, he faced upwards of 400 lawsuits challenging his actions. How many did Biden face? His advisors anticipate more than that this time around. There will be a team inside the DOJ that is just decided to defending Trump actions in court, sources say, is dedicated. So what does that mean? Some judge will say, well, I'm going to fight that, I'm going to fight that, I'm going to challenge that, I'm going to challenge that. And that will be stopped in court, from what my understanding is. So that means it's not going to be implemented if it's challenged in court by a judge. So if you have a, Bergstein-Mann, let's say Judge Bergstein-Mann from, let's say, New York City, saying, well, I challenge that. He's a federal judge, let's say. Then that orders get stopped until it gets, and then after that, let's say they lose. There's going to be another Bergstein-Mann coming and say, I challenge here in Florida. Okay, next one is going to be Tel Aviv. I'm sorry. So in Florida, the next one. And so on, based on a little other interpretation. And that's going to be held 4 years or 8 years until they get their baboon in place. And then the other guys could do the same thing, but somehow they really don't do it. Why is that? They're talking about swamps and parallel states and all that, which is not true. Not true. All right, let's go to the next one. U.S. agency rebrands chief diversity officer amid Trump's purge. This is the person. I was about to say something. This is the person. Lisa, senior executive office of the director. She is the one. Do you know how much she makes? I guarantee you is more than $100,000 by far. I guarantee you that. Why? Because when I used to work for state of Michigan, I know that entry level, I think it was 2019 or 2020, maybe 2021, I can't remember exactly. The entry level for a, not senior, it was an entry level diversity of equity and inclusion officer was $84,000. Then I made a video on this one and I showed you how much their salary increased as entry level, I don't know, about a year ago or so. So this diverse person, obviously, she's got a job because she's the best at doing that. So what they're doing, they change, how is that? Lupul schimbă pielea, dar năravul ba. That's a Romanian expression, which translates, the wolf could change his hair, the hive, how do you call that when animals are shedding their whatever, but they don't change their instincts or who they really are. So the wolf can't pretend it's something else, changes just a hair, but it's going to be a wolf. The same here. They changed the name of the diversity officer, making senior executive officer, but it's the same garbage. All right, the same garbage. So, Meow Meow is here. The office at the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosions now holds the title of Senior Executive. The U.S. Bureau has renamed the position of its Chief Diversity Officer to Senior Executive after President Trump ordered the dismantling of diversity, equity and inclusion DEI programs across the federal government. Lisa T. Boykin, hey Boykin, the long-serving official who previously held the title, remains on that list of ATF leadership. Critics online have speculated that the agency is trying to circumvent Trump's policy. No, they don't. They're just so honest. British tabloid Daily Mail accused the ATF of deploying sneaky tactics to undermine the executive order. So what do you think, my friends? What if they change the name? Like, for instance, as I said, it is not a peacekeeping force or invasion troops, or in Ukraine it's going to be peacekeeping troops, love-making troops, euphemisms. People don't die in America anymore. They just pass away. You understand? People are not anymore. They're just differently abled, or all kind of euphemisms to make people feel better about themselves, but they don't change the condition. You can't call them midgets, you call them little people. But they're still, you know what I mean? You look at them, the same here. She's going to be a chief officer, but she's going to be the same garbage. The same, the programs, the PowerPoints, all these things that we had to do in training in Michigan. They will change the title. It's not going to be called DEI training. It's going to be called loving training. Or I don't know, justice training, or something like that. And it's going to be the same thing. Euphemisms. Is anybody going to look into that? What if the ones that are supposed to look into that are just going to change their hair, but not what they really are? That's garbage. Garbage. Next one. Russia Today, 23rd of January. Pentagon deploys more troops to Mexican border. U.S. President Donald Trump have vowed to fight an invasion, quote-unquote, of illegal migrants. Now, based on the duties of the military deployed over there, you're going to understand how serious things are. I will tell you my vision of how I can solve in 48 hours. Why do I say 48 hours? I will explain. The so-called, how do you want to call it, illegal migrants invasion. Very simple. I gave them 48 hours so they spread the words of what happened to some of the people who try to enter like they do. So when I give them 48 hours to spread, oh my God, did you hear what Emil did to these guys? Man, we can't go over there unless you're like, I'm going to let this. Okay, this will be maybe less than 1% out of the 100% who did, even if they get these guys, even if they get the memo, Emil did this to those guys over there one time, this guy's gonna be, no, I'm gonna go. This is exactly what's gonna be. Less than 1%. The baboons that are gonna be like crazy, and they will get it. What am I gonna do? You can only guess. I'm gonna wait for them with water and blankets and air conditioning and how do you call those inflatable ladies of the night and so on. I'm gonna give them. No, that's not what I'm gonna do, obviously. And I'm not gonna be over there with guys with automatic weapons or with tanks. And no, we have drones. And as a hint, see Ukraine. All right, let's move on. All right, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. It was a joke. So let's see what these guys are saying. President Trump signed an executive order, 1,500 additional troops to the United States southern border. This comes off of his day one action to direct the Department of Defense to make Homeland Security a core mission of the agency. Around 2,200 active duty troops are already stationed to do what, and this is garbage, at the border as part of Joint Task Force North, whose headquarters is based in El Paso, Texas. The soldiers are operating together with the National Guard and Customs of Border Protection. This is what they do. They do currently assisting in mostly logistical and bureaucratic tasks. Pencil pushers, or how do you call that? All right, Acting Secretary of Defense Robert said the Pentagon will dispatch helicopters with associated crews. I want to know if they have the I'm just kidding, my friends. They just have the helicopters. Yeah, let's look. How many? Okay, 1 more million. Okay, if they're just over there dispatched with the helicopters just to... Yeah, there's like 5 over here, 10 over there, and that's it. Don't even bother to use our resources to use helicopters unless you have the... All right, let's move on. So the Pentagon says helicopters with associated crews and intelligence analysts. They will analyze the information provided by the helicopters to support increased detention and monitoring efforts. So they're going to monitor. The Pentagon will also provide military airlift to support DHA's deportation flights of more than 5,000 illegal aliens from the San Diego, California, El Paso, Texas sectors detained by Overall, Trump is preparing to send around 10,000 troops to the border. Send 1 million drones, man. 1 million drones. They will do the job. And about, 2,000 drone operators. They're going to change, when the drones come back, you screw another one. And all right. The Washington Post... I'm just kidding, my friends. I'm just kidding. Trump, who took office Monday, has vowed to protect the country from the invasion, quote-unquote, of illegal migrants. In an executive order signed shortly after entering the White House, he said that many undocumented migrants, and I'm quoting, undocumented, that's false, I will tell you that undocumented, present significant threats to national security and public safety and are committing violent and heinous acts against innocent Americans. Well, I think so. More than 1.5 million migrants were recorded as gotaways, individuals who evaded CBP detection. So they recorded 2.8 million encounters in 2023. So, well, the thing with undocumented, they're not undocumented. They are illegally trespassing, entering a private property, the property of the United States of American citizens. So if I, let's say, go drive a car, and police, Mr. Kosman, please, driver's license, registration, and insurance. Oh, ma! I pull out my insurance, give it to him. I get my, registration out of my cock, and then, I don't have my ID. Then I would be named or labeled as undocumented. I don't have documents. That's an undocumented. Who doesn't have the documents? But I'm legal. I'm legal in the country. And he says, okay, what's your name, Mr. Kosman? Oh, you already know my name. I just ran your license plate, boy. Okay, so you tell them, sir, first, I have to tell you that I have this in, okay, or maybe on my own possession. Do you want to see it? No. Okay. That's the first thing you have to say if you carry a gun. So, which we always do. All right, so then you got the guy is going to say, okay, you can give me your date of birth, you can, but still, that is undocumented. We don't have documentation. Now, if I go on, let's say, on the White House property, I just jump over the fence and I want to see him, and they grab me and put me face down. How do you think I will be called? Undocumented or illegally trespassing? You know exactly the baboonish euphemisms. So, my friends, these guys must go. That job called Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Officer and all the trainers, all the jerk-offs, that should not have happened. Don't be upset with me. That job should have never happened because I think it's a job that tries to indoctrinate a certain group to be hated. Actually, indoctrinate other people to hate a certain group and indoctrinate that group to hate itself, whatever you want to call it. That's what I think it is shaming. So when a promotion will be coming up, you don't want to apply because you belong to the wrong group. Everybody else should be in the name of equity. Why? Because you owe me. You remember that? Remember 200 years ago? Remember 300 years ago? You owe me somehow. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.